Hi. How are you doing? Can you guys hear me? Hi, Aaron. Hi, Retro Tech and stuff. Um, this is a pretty important video today. So, I'm mostly in one piece. I'm actually wearing the clothes I was wearing when that happened. Coated in blood and mud. Yeah. So if you guys read the title of the story, the video, yeah. I'm alive. Just barely made it out of there. Anyway, I'm Greg Redke of Redke Mods. I keep forgetting to start my live streams that way. So welcome, guys. It's not a video I was planning on making today, but yeah. So let's talk a little bit. Ow. So, yeah, for you guys that don't know, I'm a Corvette fanatic. And I've been one my whole life. Thank you, guys. I've been a Corvette fanatic my whole life. And my dad is one of the reasons why. And when my dad passed, he left me his Corvette, which was a 2015 Z06. That light glare is really sucky. I don't know what to do about it. There we go. So he left me a 2015 Z06, which I've tried my best to respect, because it's one of those cars that will actively try to kill you every time you get in it. Yeah. So this morning, my friend Chris, the guy that's doing the other channel with me if we ever get it off the ground, and I decided to carpool because I needed to go over and pick up a vehicle from our workplace to drive home. So we decided to carpool, and just because he wanted us to take the Corvette. And I'd already taken it the other day in the rain. I literally had just gotten it back from, hi Dana, the body shop from the last incident it had. And I had paid a good amount of money to get it all fixed. And it was running good, and that light's getting on my last nerve. You know what? I'm going to turn that off. I'll be right back. That's better. So, where was I? We decided to take the Corvette. And I said it just came out of the body shop. I put a good amount of money into it. New tires, oil change, all this stuff. The last time I had taken it out, like really taken it out, I was just going to have a nice little dinner back in November. And I was going up a hill on the highway, car next to me, center divider here, and just going up, crested over the hill, and there was a big blue wooden pallet just laying there. So it had just gotten out the body shop. It had been there for about probably 2 months. The car had been sitting since November for the most part. It needed a new battery, new tires, a whole lot of other things. So we'd just gotten it back. You know, it was good. And Chris wanted to take the Corvette. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And as I was pulling out, I've gone down this road from my house. I've lived here all my life. I've gone down this road more times than I can count. Okay? Know every single turn, know how everything handles. Yeah. So, Chris hops in, and Chris is one of these guys that only wears a seatbelt if he absolutely has to. I'm like, you're what, buckle in. Because we were actually running a bit behind what I like to run to get to work. So, he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, trust me, you're going to want to buckle in. He's like, nah, I'll be fine. We get halfway down my neighborhood, and the beeper starts going off for the passenger to buckle their seatbelt. He finally gave in and buckled up. I'm buckled in, he's buckled in, we're good. And we were talking about all the modes on the Corvette and stuff, and how track mode's the, oh my God, this is crazy S kind of stuff. And, you know, just chatting and stuff. And as I get out in the neighborhood, I pick it up a little bit. It wasn't anything. I'd gone a lot faster through there. But, you know, we're making good time through the neighborhood. Well, past the neighborhood, through the back roads to get onto the highway. And we were on that road for maybe a mile when we whip around a blind curve. And there is a pedestrian in my lane. You know, my brain's thinking all these things, and, you know, we're moving pretty good. I should have just hit the brakes and slowed down, but I thought, I'll just go around them. That was the mistake. So, get ready to go around them, and Chris yells, Jeep! And about that time, the Jeep's headlights kick on. And I'm not hitting this Jeep. So I had 3 options. Hit the guy on the road in my lane, go under the Jeep, or try to get around the Jeep and save the car. The first 2 options didn't sound enticing. I don't want to be running over anyone, and I don't want to be going under anyone. So I tap the brakes, kick the car sideways, go around the Jeep, and as I come back around, it's kind of a blur after that. I don't really know how fast I was going. This car can go 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. And when I say I don't know how fast I was, I really don't. I wasn't looking at the speedometer. I was more busy trying not to run over someone and trying not to hit a Jeep. And the Jeep happened to be my neighbor that lives a few houses down from my house. And he even thought that I was going to pull out of it. I didn't pull out of it. I've had a lot of close calls in Corvettes. I've even wrecked Dad's other Corvette once when I was a teenager because I'm an idiot. Well, at least I was as a teen. I'm apparently still an idiot. And if you notice, I don't have any glasses on. You'll understand in a minute. So, I I swerve around the Jeep, and as I get the car back around, the rear tire drops down into a ditch, which would have been okay, but when it dropped down in that ditch, it possibly cracked one of the control arms in the front because the car just slammed down on it. And then when the tire popped back out of the ditch, it popped the tire right off the bead. So at that point, I'm sliding sideways on a rim with barely any steering. And I tried to yank the wheel. Car just wasn't turning the way I wanted it to anymore. And we were pointing straight at the creek. And I'm not talking about a small little stream. I mean, like, the creek's a small stream, but it's also probably at least 5 feet deep. Actually, probably more like 8 feet, 10 feet, somewhere about that deep in a drop, okay? So I'm about to go off this creek bank. And the second the front tires hit the grass, I just pull my arms in and go forward because I know it's going to hurt. There's no coming out of this. And I just closed my eyes and let it go. Car left the road. And this is like 9:20 in the morning. Car leaves the road. And it travels probably 10 feet at least. At some point it hits this giant boulder, possibly. We're not really sure what it hit. But the whole time I have my eyes closed. The whole time Chris has his eyes wide open. He sees the whole thing. I don't. But apparently at some point we hit this boulder that was in there. And it just ripped the whole driver's door clean off the car. But that's not the worst part. After it did that, the driver's side slams into a bridge going across the creek. The car pops up over the bridge, flips, and lands right on the driver's side. And we land. The engine's still running. The radio's still on. Chris is like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I am." I turn the engine off. In all the confusion, I hear this loud bang, and glass just goes everywhere. Chris couldn't get the door open on the passenger side. So he tried to wedge his fat butt through the top of the window instead of trying to roll it down or using the emergency release on the door. He just pushed the window and started climbing out. Chris is not a small guy. Um, so he got about halfway out, and his gut grabbed the window and exploded it all over me. So I'm now coated in glass, mud, and blood. I look up, he's already looking at me, down at me like, you getting out? You know. I know from experience of learning about accidents and all that stuff, first thing you need to do is if you know, think you might be in trouble, like the car might explode or something, you need to get out of the car. Car seemed okay. You know, and you should probably stay put if you think you're injured. I didn't think I was injured, and luckily I really wasn't. But I wasn't sure if the car was going to do something. I wanted to get out of it. So I released my seatbelt. I fall to the driver's side, what I thought was the driver's side door. I was actually falling onto the creek bank. Well, the floor of the creek. And I moved myself around. I stand up on the floor of the creek, stick my head out through the passenger side window, and start pulling myself out by the door, get out of the car. And this is when reality starts really sitting in. I pulled myself out of the deep creek area. I look over at the bridge. The bridge has been eradicated. And on the other side of the bridge is the driver's side door. It's just laying there. Have I mentioned lately that 2019 through 2021 has been really bad to me? I see the door laying there. I'm like, is that the driver's side door? I'm looking at myself. This arm is just covered in blood. As we can see here, scrapes. There's scrapes on here, blood blisters down through here, you know. I'm thinking, you know, when we hit, did the door come off, or was the door already off when we hit? And looking at the Corvette, the door was probably already off when we hit the bridge. And the frame had this dent about this big in it. And the body shop guy's like, if it hadn't been up about that much further, you would have no legs. But I figure when we went airborne and the door got ripped off, that's when my glasses and hat flew off. I had my eyes closed, but my glasses and hat flew off. As you can tell, I don't have any glasses. If I hadn't been wearing my seatbelt, I would have been flung out of that car. And I probably wouldn't have survived. If Chris hadn't been wearing his seatbelt, he would have been launched through the windshield. And he probably wouldn't have survived. But because we were both wearing our seatbelts, the only thing happened to Chris was he got an airbag burn on his arm, and a cut on his arm from busting the window trying to get out. It's the only thing that happened to him. Me, I more or less had a car land on me. At least I would have if I hadn't been wearing my seatbelt. Because if I had managed to stay in the car before it touched down, I'd probably have a car on top of me. It's why wearing seatbelts are important, people. And honestly, if it had been another car, I probably wouldn't have walked away. Corvettes are nice because this was the safest ever created Corvette of its time in 2015. You know, it's pretty sure it's a carbon fiber tub and all this stuff. It's designed like a race car. Yeah. Yeah, it is. We both walked away. I walked away a little more rough than he did. I've got bruises on both my legs. One knee's bruised up. Got scrapes all the way up and down this arm. Shoulder's a little tender. Got a seat belt stripe across my chest. And this wrist is actually fine. The wrist is fine. But, and I don't know if I've been misdiagnosed or what, honestly, because the bone that I was told is fractured doesn't hurt. I have a whole different pain in my hand. But the hand itself works, more or less. It's tender right here. So I have a small fracture somewhere in here. And he said it will naturally heal. But I've got scrapes across here. I've got a blood blister here. I got scrapes going down through here. Scrapes in here. Bruises on my legs. But I walked away. And if it hadn't been for that seat belt, I wouldn't have. I also have an airbag burn on the top of my head. So now I'm going to talk to you guys for a few minutes. Hey, Michael, good to see you on here. Michael MJD, ladies and gentlemen. It is really hard to read right now because I'm nearsighted. And I have no glasses. But everything's just blurry. I can still read. It's just a little more difficult. Sean, definitely, it was a miracle. Yes, I am. I'm very lucky, Dave. Yeah, Dave, I probably will fill it in 3 days. But, yeah, I wanted to make this video, tell you guys what happened today, because I want to spread the word. If you wear your seatbelt, you're less likely to die, because that could have killed me. And if you want proof that it could have killed me, once they pulled the car out, the thumbnail. Okay? It is so bad that the rear wheel is facing the same direction as the front wheels. It shattered all the rims. And I walked away. I'm a little sore. I'm stiff. But I went to the ER. Fastest ER trip I've ever had. They did some x-rays, and the only thing they found was a fracture in my hand. I think they found it in the wrong spot in the hand, but I have a small fracture in my left hand. My left hand still works. It's a little sore, but it works fine. And yes, it did, Dave. It definitely did its job. But I'm a survivor. I don't know how fast I was going. Seriously, I really don't know how fast I was going. But I can tell you it was pretty quick. I don't know how fast. I wasn't busy looking at the speedometer while I was trying not to kill someone or myself or Chris. Okay? Needless to say, I didn't go to work because I had a car land on my arm. But I think all these injuries, mostly, some of the scrapes I think were from something sliding with my arm out the door for a second. But I think my hand being broken for your new glasses fund and a haircut. Thank you, Dana. Thank you a whole lot, man. But, you know, I think actually my hand might have been broken from the airbag because it had a side airbag on the seat, which exploded. And my arms were tucked in when we hit, but I don't know where they went afterwards. Yeah, but I'm a survivor. I did manage to wreck my dad's most prized possession car, which is a little tough, but I'm honestly not upset about losing the car. There were so many things that could have gone wrong. Chris could have been killed. I could have killed that guy on the road. Could have killed my neighbor. Could have killed me. But I didn't. We all survived. And the car's worse for wear. It's totaled. The adjuster comes out either Monday or Tuesday, but I can't. It's gone. My dad's baby's gone. But I'm honestly not that upset about the car as I am about almost dying. If it had been a slightly older car, we probably wouldn't have survived. If one of us wasn't wearing a seatbelt, whoever it was wouldn't have probably survived, or would have been maimed, or very, 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 very injured. So, Retro Tech, you're right. I did the only thing I could think to do. If I had had another foot on the right side of the road, I would have pulled it out. But the second that wheel dropped down to the ditch, it was all over. There's no stopping. And you can see the skid mark of the rim skid mark sliding across into the creek. There was no traction, nothing like that. Oh, thank you, Patrick. You guys don't have to give me money, but thank you. That means a lot. Hopefully this will help you. Thank you. I don't need money tonight, guys. I don't even know why I turned monetization on, but thank you. Anyway, when the car gets looked at, 99% sure it will be totaled out. I will probably end up buying it back. It might end up being a project on the car channel. Who knows? I'm not actually buying it back to rebuild because it's probably going to get something like a certificate of destruction or something on it. which means you can't really rebuild it. It's too structurally unsound. But we may still be able to use the engine and transmission, electronics in it and stuff. All that survived. It's about all that did survive. The radio actually was still playing. It worked too, but the rest of the car is pretty much gone. So if I do buy it back, because it was Dad's baby and I don't want to see it go, might do something interesting with it. But right now, I'm just trying to come to reality that this happened. And I wanted to do this video to spread awareness for seatbelt safety, because I've always been an advocate of it, but I've never really had to use it like I did today. So. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to do this video. Bruce right now, I hear, is doing a live stream, so head on over to Branca's Creations and go see him. I don't know, he may have postponed it, but that's where I'm going next. But thank you guys for watching today. It's not a stream like I planned on doing, but yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and this has been a Rutke Mods video. You guys have a good one. Bye.